Hello, everyone. It's 12 o'clock, so we're just letting everyone in. We'll keep adding people as we see them pop up. But thank you guys so much for joining our webinar today. It's something we've been talking about doing for a while. We just want to give people sort of a background on Curata Travel. And for some of you, I see some names on here who've traveled with us before to hear about our 2025 tours, but I see a lot of new names. So we're excited to share our company with you, our philosophy, our travel style, and hopefully get you inspired to travel with us in the future. So I wanted to start and just give you a little introduction to the team that we have on here today. My name's Kyle Carter, and I run Curata Travel. I'm our chief curation officer, and I've been with the company since the beginning in 2013. And travel and food is my passion. I started with, which we'll get into a little bit of the history of the company. I started with what is Caputo Brothers Creamery, which is where our tours started back in 2013. And I've been running, I actually started as a traveler in 2012, and I've been running and planning these tours since 2013. So it's a huge passion of mine, and our team is growing, and I'm excited for you to meet some of them. I want to introduce Brianna.
Hi, everybody. I recognize some names on here, and hello to those that are new. My name is Brianna Giesemann. I am one of the experience curators here at Curata Travel. So what does that mean? I do a little bit of everything. So I work on the administrative side of things to help book restaurants, tours, experiences. I'm also, I sort of help people prepare for tours. So making sure that they know what to pack, know what to expect during the tours. And then I'm also one of the tour directors as well. So we sort of take turns leading different tours along the way. But I started with Curata Travel in 2022. So I'm coming up on 3 years now. And this is a dream job for me. I've always had a spot in my heart for Italy. So now that I get to spend a lot of time there and show people just how amazing it is it's very special. So thanks for joining, and I can pass it along to Chris.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Aldhouse. I am the other experience curator at Curata and also a tour director. So Brianna summed up our role really well. So what she said also applies to me. I'm from right outside of Philly, but in college, I studied in Bologna, Italy for a year and a half. And I think that that's where I really found a passion, not only for travel, but also for authentic travel. I saw so many people, including myself, fall into tourist traps left and right. And Kyle will get into this when she explains more about Curata, but I fell in love with exploring the individual cuisines of these regions of Italy, as opposed to falling into tourist traps that just pushed forward generic food and didn't let you experience the true culture of Italy. So I knew that I wanted to get involved with something that would allow me to give that opportunity to other people. I'm relatively new to Curata. I just started this past summer, but it's been great, and I'm thrilled to help people have these opportunities as well. And I'll pass the mic to Romina.
Hi everyone, I'm Romina Diaz. Hi everybody. Um, so I'm one of the not guides, but I'm one of the travel I go with you on your travels because I'm from Italy. I'm half Filipino, half Italian. Sorry, I wasn't ready for all this. Let me get my spiel going. So I live in Florence. I live in Italy. I've been here for the past 23 years. I'm a professional food guide. So a lot of my work has to do with anthropology, the cultural experiences, and of course, eating my way through Italy. Um, I I was introduced to Curata by Martina Bertolozzi. And from there, we started this beautiful culinary friendship, love affair with Italy, and traveling and discovering not just the restaurants, but more importantly, is you really get to understand the people that are involved, their passion for the most minute detail, which is something that's already getting lost in a lot of traveling, because there's this desire to just take the Instagram shot or just say, oh, I went to this place, instead of really experiencing Italy for what it is. And this is what I think is my greatest love with Italy, is because every day you meet somebody that will inspire you to become a little bit more Italian, to live a little bit more Italian. And I promise you, with Curata, even if I live in Italy, they teach me how to be more Italian. So so you guys are in the right hands, because they the love that we put in, the love that we share in all this work, and actually, as Brianna said, it is our dream job. So who more be the best guides and your best companions to travel through Italy than people that love this job the most? And I
Awesome.
see my darling Martina on the other side. I'll
Yes,
pass on off to her.
we sort of sprung this on Martina and Romina. Martina actually just finished a tour, put our travelers on a van at 6 a.m. this morning, and then took the rest to the airport in Milan. And so she is just wrapping up our last tour of the season. So we just wanted to let you guys introduce yourselves. We won't make you be on screen the whole time.
Thank you, because I don't know that I can keep both eyes open at the same time at this moment. But hello, everybody. My name is Martina Bartolozzi, and I have been working with Curata Travel since 2018. This was my 26th tour, and it has been an amazing journey. It is an amazing journey. And yeah, my background is that I am half Italian and half American, born and raised here in Italy by an Italian father and an American mother. And I love food history, food anthropology, and especially also all of the different regional foods. And that is one of my greatest passions and one of the things that I love exploring the most while we are on a tour together. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me with as much of the energy that I can muster right now. I apologize, but that 5 a.m. wake up was a little brutal. But I will be there for you at 5 a.m. to make
She
sure
will.
that you are off on a van safely with all your suitcase and right on time.
She absolutely will. So we just wanted to give you a little overview about our team. We've got a team. Our main office is in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. And so Chris, Brianna, and I currently live in that area. And then we've got Romina and Martina, who both live in Florence, and they are also tour directors. We also have Dave and Rin Caputo, who started the whole business. They often appear on trips as well, and have a lot, as all of these trips came out of their travels back after culinary school. But we'll give a little background on that too. So I just wanted to give you a little introduction to our team, and then we have a bit of a presentation to go through and introduce you to Curata. And so Brianna is going to share her screen and show you, we'll start going through our presentation. All right, so a little about Curata. If you've never traveled with us before or don't know us, our tours actually started out of a company called Caputo Brothers Creamery, which is a cheese company in central Pennsylvania. The owners, Dave and Rin Caputo, went to culinary school in Calabria, Italy, the toe of Italy. And following their master's program in Italian cuisine, they traveled through all 20 regions of Italy, spent 6 months, all from a food and wine perspective. So they met producers and chefs all over from the top to the bottom of Italy, and sort of were inspired to bring people over and show them the Italy that they had learned in their travels. So that started in 2012. They started a bit of a friends and family tour. I went on it as a traveler, and as soon as we got home, I just kept bugging them until they hired me. And we ran our next tour in 2013. It started as maybe 2 trips a year, then 3, and then snowballed to the point where we decided after COVID that we still wanted to keep going with international travel, and we branched off Curata in 2022 into its own company. So it still has the same mission, it still has the same goals. Our team has grown, but still has the same passion for our travels. And so this just gives you a little background of what these trips are about. So the trips are not sure they're a vacation to Italy, but they are also an experience. We want you to come away learning about how strong culinary traditions are in this country from region to region. We just want you to learn about some of the food traditions, the food history, the food anthropology, as Romina and Martina both mentioned, and the authentic experiences. Sure, again, you can go to the place you saw on social media that has the famous sandwich, or somewhere you stand in line because you saw it on Instagram. But we are taking you, our goal is to take you off the beaten path. You can feel comfortable. We're your guides. We will take you off the beaten path, show you these authentic experiences, and you create friendships along the way, which we'll talk about as well. So we want everyone to come away with a bit of an education as well. So a lot of people wonder what our tours are like. So many people haven't been on a group tour or an escorted tour. So we wanted to go through some of the frequently asked questions that we get from people, like what is a group tour? What is an escorted tour? So escorted tours, group tours, basically any tour that has more than 2 people on it. It's a group. It can be an affinity group, which means, a group from a church traveling together or a hiking club. But typically, our tours are made up of singles, couples, siblings traveling together, mother, daughter. It is a wide range of people. It's a wide range of ages. And then the escorted tour means that the travelers are accompanied by an experienced tour director. So any one of the people you met today through the entire duration of your trip. The tour director stays with the group as you travel through the excursions and meals on the itinerary, and are meant to be sort of a guiding force with you throughout the entire tour. What is included? Or Brianna or Chris, if you guys have anything to add throughout all of this, feel free to jump in. I also wanted to add with the group escorted tour and our guides. I know we introduced everyone. I also wanted to point out that Romina and Martina are both licensed tour guides in Italy. Brianna and I are both certified travel advisors, which is something that Chris is going to be working towards. You have to have been in the business for, I think it's 2 years. 2 years, yeah. So once he gets to that point, he'll be pursuing that certification as well. So there's a lot of not only just travel experience, but education behind what we do. What's included on a group tour, on our group tours? So if you explore our website and look at some of the trips, you'll see pricing, what's included. But a lot of people want a little more of a breakdown. So basically on our tours, everything that's included is from when you land to when we drop you back off at the airport. So airfare is not included, and travel insurance, which we really strongly encourage. Both of those are not included, but virtually on any given trip, virtually all meals, maybe there might be one meal or two on your own on a 10-day tour, is not included. But all other meals we do together. Since these are culinary tours, the meals are very important. So it's not only important for everyone to sit down at a communal table together, but it's part of your culinary experience. We select all of the menus, we meet with the chefs, we figure everything out to plan the menus in advance to make sure that you're getting the important dishes of the region, to make sure you're getting that full experience. Hotels are included, experiences, whether that's a cooking class or a boat excursion or a walking tour, all of those are included. Said hotels, meals, experiences, transportation. We have a wonderful bus company we partner with, and if you've been on our tour, Steve, a great bus driver that we love to use. So a motor coach, private motor coach is included. Anything else you guys can think of? What am I missing?
No, I don't think so. I think you've covered all of it. I just wanted to sort of encapsulate what it means when we have a group meal, because I think people don't realize how much food is included in a culinary tour. So when we book these restaurants, we're working really closely with the chefs and the staff there to curate the perfect menu for you. So most of the time when you go to dinner, it is a multi-course meal. So that might mean antipasti, which is like an appetizer, first course, dessert. It could mean a totally full meal, appetizer, first course, second course, pre-dessert, which if you don't know what that is, neither did I until I started working here and realized pre-dessert is a thing. And then dessert, and then also coffee at the end, and always wine with meals. We try our best to balance those heavier, fuller meals with some lighter meals, although some travelers may argue that our lighter meals are normal meals. But yes, like I said, we do try to balance them. And wine is included in meals as well. So that sort of gives you a better idea of what the meals look like.
Yeah, so that's a good point, Brianna, to sort of outline the meal. I was also thinking about what else is included. So your tour directors, usually on any given trip, you have two of our Curata team members. On a smaller trip, there may be one, but typically there's two of us there to be a part of your group. And gratuity throughout the trip. So restaurants got like our walking tour guides, the hotels, we take care of those gratuities. The only thing that would not be included would be your gratuities to your tour directors and bus driver. So those are included as well.
Can I just one more thing? Included in the value of your trip with Curata is sort of the process leading up to your trip as well. So we start contacting you about 6 months before your trip, and that includes just getting you the information you need to seamlessly book your flights. So we'll help you with that. Getting you information on the cities that we're visiting, giving you some background, giving you sites to see. If you do have a meal on your own, giving you recommendations of restaurants to go to, giving you a packing checklist. We have a group Zoom with your whole group, so you start to get to know your tour directors, start to get to know your fellow travelers, and start to get a little excited about your trip. We typically have one-on-one appointments available. So if you are a little nervous or if you have a lot of questions about your trip, you can hop on a call with one of us and we're happy to sort of guide you through that. So we're preparing you leading up to your trip as well. So there's no stress for you. We've got you covered, and all you got to do is get to Italy and enjoy your trip.
Yeah. That's a great point, Brianna. Another question we get a lot is how many travelers are there on any given tour? Our typical tour, which still falls in the small group category, are 18 to 20 guests. So 18 to 20 guests plus two of us as your tour directors and our driver. So typical full group size is 23. We sometimes do have smaller tours that are capped based on like our Tuscan immersion tour is a small group, very small group tour. It's only meant for 6 people. Or if we have a tour where there's an excursion that requires us to be a smaller group, it would be like that. The biggest tour group we've had would be our Croatia cruise that we had this past summer, and there were 30 guests, but that was by far the largest we've ever had. So it's still relatively small. We don't want to be that big, giant tour bus, rumbling into the city and overwhelming a restaurant or things like that. We want to keep the group as small, and these 18 to 20 is what we like to do. We think that's still good, and we can usually all still fit at a table together, that kind of thing. So that's sort of our ideal size. What's a typical day on tour like? So a lot of people want to know am I going to have a lot of free time? Is it just going to be, hopping on and off the bus all day, driving from place to place? Am I going to be, packing every day and moving around? So in general, our tours, we do have some 7 or 8 day tours, but typically they're 10 days. And we try to do 3 nights in each location. So that's, I would say, generally how they're formatted. So we try to keep it like that. So you don't feel like you're on the move too much. A typical day would be you wake up, you can have breakfast at your leisure at the hotel. We try not to do any super early mornings. I can think of one tour where it's slightly early, maybe 7:30 departure, and that's because we have to see cheese being made and they make it in the morning. But otherwise, you get to have a pretty sleep in. Maybe, we probably depart for the day at 9:30 or so. So breakfast on your own, and then we would depart for maybe a morning excursion to some sort of producer or experience, and then that would include lunch after. And then we would get back to the hotel in the afternoon. You have a few hours in the afternoon before we enjoy our dinner in the evenings. And dinners typically we start on the early side for Italy, which would be 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they can go, as Brianna said, they're usually long, leisurely meals. They can go till 10 or 11 at night. So we try to give you a good balance. We're not in the bus for, 3 hours every day. We're not hopping on and off the bus. You're not leaving the hotel at 6 in the morning, coming back at 10 at night. We try to give you time in wherever we're staying to, if we're staying in where Chris is right now in Bologna, and we want to give you time to go out and explore on your own, because maybe we're not doing, maybe you want to see the Duomo and we haven't taken you there yet, or something like that. Or if we're staying out in the countryside, give you just some downtime to relax. If our property has a pool, so, time to use the pool, time to read, time to, take a nap. All the food and wine, you're going to want to take a nap. So again, we try not to rush you. We try to give a good balance of experiences plus downtime as well. What kind of hotels do you stay in? So we also try to give you a good blend of lodging experiences on the trips, where we're able. We try to, a good example, we'll talk about the iconic Italy tour a little bit later in the presentation, where Brianna is in her picture. But like on that tour, you're staying in a resort type hotel that's on the coast. And then the next stop is Bologna, where Chris is. So you're in a medieval city, and then we're in the countryside in Tuscany. So we try to give you a blend of like a more modern boutique hotel, some sort of inn-like experience, whether that's an agriturismo or a masseria. So something that is maybe a converted farm B&B type stay, and then maybe a more grand hotel or something like that. So we like to also give you that sort of experience. Typically, they're 3 and 4 star hotels, lodging. Everything has your own private bathroom. Usually has all the amenities you would be used to. And depending on the tour you sign up for, we give you all of that information in advance as well. I had another couple other questions that came in that were submitted that we didn't include here yet. One person wanted to know, as they said, I would be traveling alone. Is there opportunity to coordinate flights or transfers with others traveling from the Delaware, Pennsylvania region? So once we have everyone's information, if that is something you're concerned about, if you're signed up and traveling on your own, we can certainly connect you with people once we have their signups and sort of see where everyone is geographically. You can let us know and we can connect you with people, and you guys could coordinate flights. As far as flights go, so since they're not included in the trips, a lot of people have questions about that. If you look at any given tour on our website, you'll see it'll say what airport we pick you up at and what airport we drop you off at. So in some cases, that's not a round trip flight. So maybe we pick you up in Naples and we drop you off in Bari on the other side of the country. That doesn't mean that you have to book your flight there. You could book a round trip in and out of Naples and try to transfer from Bari. All of these things we can help you work out. We're available to sort of coach you through things. A lot of people have travel agents. We totally recommend working with travel agents. We're AAA, and we can also help work with the travel agents as well and make sure you get where you need to on time. And a lot of people will fly in a day early, get over the jet lag. So we've got a blog post on our website that goes through a lot of these recommendations. So, and that's just part of what Brianna was talking about how we help prepare you for your tour. Another question, meals included, or is that a separate expense? We mentioned that. So you'll have your full itinerary beforehand. You'll see if there's a meal or two that is not part of the group experience. Like in Cinque Terre, you have the whole day to explore the Cinque Terre on your own and do lunch on your own. So that would be one meal expense to consider. But you can choose, do you want to just stop for focaccia, or do you want to have a sit down meal with wine? And all those things we can recommend. Do you have workshop with chefs that prepare the local cuisine while traveling? On any given trip, we usually have a hands-on cooking class. So this is a part of the culinary experience, is learning those specialties of the region and getting to sort of get your hands dirty and then make you work for your food, because then you get to eat it when you're done. Minimum age of travelers on your trips. So we don't have a set minimum age. I think the youngest traveler we've ever had was 13. And we've had a couple people over the years in that range. So we don't have a minimum age. We don't have necessarily pricing for kids. A lot of times we would just have to check with the hotels, like if it's a parent and a younger child, two parents and a younger child, if they have a triple room available. We don't have specific excursions cut out for children, but if you have an age in mind, you can certainly contact us and ask if the trip would be appropriate. We do visit wineries or distilleries. We do have, there's wine at dinner, that kind of thing. And there are some late nights with the meals. So that's just some things to keep in mind. Brianna or Chris, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add there. Otherwise, we can keep going. All right. And so why should you travel with us? I've got a couple, these reviews over there are recent from our last couple trips, but the first bullet point there is destination intelligence. So between our team members who live in Italy and are constantly traveling around from a food perspective and gathering ideas and inspiration for future trips. We've got 11 years 12 years now, almost 13, of running tours to Italy, from top, bottom to the islands, Sicily, Sardinia. So we have intelligence about all these destinations. We've been doing this for a while. We've gotten training as well. And it's something that I think we've become a trusted source for people, that people really trust that wherever we take them is going to be a great experience.
And I would just add that we're also constantly looking for new experiences, new restaurants, new places. We just did a retreat in a new region for almost all of us here at Curata. And so we spent a few days there trying out a couple different hotels, trying different experiences, trying new foods for some people. So we're constantly, even, during a tour, we're constantly thinking, okay, how can we make this better? How can we show people the next best thing?
Yeah, constant inspiration for all of us, I would say. Knowledgeable, passionate, and fun guides. I think you can already see that. We already introduced everyone, but everyone on the team is passionate about what we do. We are passionate about Italy, about food, but what we all, I think, really love is showing people this side of Italy. It almost like hurts us when we see someone travel to Italy and just go to, I don't want to name a city or a spot, but see them go to these, social media popular places, or, if they're in a spot, we want to be like, oh, we just want to give you, and sometimes we do, give them all the like good places to go outside of, the tourist area. It's a passion of ours. We just love sharing this with people. The curated experiences, like Brianna was just saying, we go to all of these places. We are not picking a restaurant or a hotel off a map or Google and taking a group there. It's a place we have slept in the beds. We have sometimes eaten all of the dishes. Like Brianna was saying, we just on our retreat, we went to one lunch and we typically order, if it's like a handwritten daily menu, we order one of everything. We try everything. We ate a lot of cheese on this last retreat, just everything for you guys, just to try all the things. But all of these are things that we have curated. Curata Travel. Curata means curated. So that was not an accident. We picked that intentionally. We are curating all of these tours to give you all the best view of Italy and the best experience possible. Stress-free travel. You see it in our reviews. It is something that we are trying to. One of the benefits about group travel and working with us is you don't have to worry about the planning details. I know there's a lot of people who love that kind of thing, and you can still plan your flights and you can plan your before and after, which we can also help with. But we've done all of the research to give you the best experiences, where to stay. When you're on tour, you don't have to worry about, like if you were traveling by yourself, making sure you get somewhere on time. How are you going to get there? Do you have to drive there? You don't have to stress about any of that because we know all of those things. We have planned them for you, and not just as a convenience, but we have picked things to delight you. We have picked things to give you a transformative experience. So you can relax, you just get there and we will pick you up and we will take you to the most fantastic places you can imagine. A sense of community. This is, I think, particularly important today. But it's something that I think is unexpected for people to come away with a new group of friends. Whether I'm a little bit of an introvert. Even if you feel like you're an introvert and you're like, I don't know about being around that many people for so long, we have had people on these trips who are millionaires and someone who has saved for 10 years for this trip. You're all riding the same bus. You're all eating at the same restaurants. You're sitting at a table together. You're getting such a broad experience, not only what we're presenting to you, but with the people that are around you. So getting to experience things with other people is just more fun. You're getting to laugh around the table. There are people who've traveled on these tours together, not knowing each other, and have now, our group, as Brianna mentioned, we have group chats in WhatsApp. So we have group chats that are still going from trips from a year and a half ago. People still sending each other pictures, and we have people that are booking new trips together. So, even if, again, you maybe think the group travel is not your thing, I'd still say try it out. You're going to come away with, I think, feeling enriched is the word I would use. You've met people with maybe different opinions than you, different upbringings, but I think you'll be surprised with the people you meet on these tours.
If Italy can do one thing, besides food and wine, we know Italy can do food and wine, it's build a community. That's one thing when I travel to Italy, it's something that I miss when I'm back in the US. When you go to the piazza and sit there with a little cappuccino and just people watch, there's just this sense of community. And I think one of the main reasons, one of the biggest reasons that you're able to do that is because of how a meal is set up. So being able to sit at dinner with the group, and you're sort of sitting next to a new person each night, so you get to learn a little bit about them. And we mentioned it's usually 2 to 3 hour dinner. So sitting there, eating the food, discussing the culture, learning about the person sitting next to you, it really does build that. You get a new family out of it. And so it is really nice to see those group chats continue and people having trip reunions at a local restaurant. It's really special, and I'm happy we can help cultivate that.
Yeah. And I think in general, our travelers are, again, you may come from different walks of life. Everyone is very inclusive and kind. I mean, I think I think you find you get a little out of your comfort zone when you're in another country and you might feel a little, off your footing, but everyone else is having that same experience. And that's something that you can immediately bond over, which I think is great. Um, One of the things I wanted to go back to with curated, I was going to say Curata experiences, curated experiences. I just wanted to give an example. Again, I know I keep harping on the sort of social media or Instagram famous spots, but we can give you an experience that you're never going to forget and you're never going to stop talking about. I mean, I was thinking of some of the experiences that are so unique to our tours. And that's not to say that we don't take you to Capri or Positano or take you over to Venice, but because if it maybe this is your one trip to Italy, we want to make sure if we're there that you see it. But we're also taking you, one example I was thinking of was there's a town we stay in where we've been going there for years. It's a tiny fishing village, and one of the items that's on menus everywhere is mussels. And so we were like, well, obviously somebody is catching mussels around here. Let's figure out how to, meet someone or do a fishing experience. So I talked to one of the concierge at the hotel, and he's from that town. What do you know? Who do you know that's doing this? And so we found a family who has a boat, and out on the water, they have their family fishing hut. And so for the next year, they helped us create this new tourism experience for them, where they picked us up on their fishing boat. The wife was, made up all sorts of little tastes for the morning, Prosecco, Aperol Spritz. They take us out on the boat to drive around in the water. And then we go to their fishing hut, and they're on the front of the boat are making lunch for us. They're grilling ginormous shrimp. They've got mussels. They've got, again, more Aperol Spritz. And over the years, we've still been going back. Every year we go back, there's a little something, zhuzhed up on the fishing hut. There's, a bigger speaker, or there's some more decorations. And so now this is a whole thing for them, for this family, that they get to share what they do, but they love it. They love showing people this. They're like, I can't believe you guys want to come and spend the whole afternoon out here in our fishing hut. And it's such an amazing experience that nobody else, you're not going to see that on Instagram from anyone else. And I know I keep harping on that social media thing, but it's just an example of one of the off the beaten path experiences that you're going to get. Next. So we wanted to go over our 2025 tours. I know there was interest. A lot of the questions that came through were about specific trips. So we're going to do a little slide on each trip that we still have seats available on, and just do a brief run through. If there's interest later, we may do a whole webinar around one trip at a time to give you sort of a deeper dive, but we'll split these up a little bit and give you an idea and sort of whet your appetite. You can always reach out to us. We can do a call or a Zoom and talk about more things in general. So we've got them in chronological order based on what's available for next year, starting with Sicily and Calabria. So this is sort of a little bit of a mix of two itineraries that we've built for next year. So we're starting in Palermo, which is, you can see in the little boot, it's sort of the top of Sicily there. It's a bustling town. It's got a lot of history, amazing architecture. It's known for its street food. We're staying at a beautiful palazzo there, a converted palace right in the heart of town. We'll do a street food tour, and you'll have some free time there because there's so many museums. There's a fantastic opera house there. And we'll spend 3 nights there before going to the second little dot you'll see at the bottom, to the town of Syracuse on the little island of Ortigia there, which is maybe my favorite piazza in all of Italy. I think so. This is right on the water, and we'll have a lot of great experiences there as well. There's a fantastic winery. This area is known for the wineries around Mount Etna and south as well. So some fantastic wines, great seafood as well, and I think you'll love the island of Ortigia. It's a little contained town and really beautiful. And then we'll take the ferry across. So the ferry from Sicily to Calabria is only about 20 minutes. You can see one side to the other. We'll take the ferry bus on the ferry across and drive up the sort of top of the boot a little bit to the town of Tropea. And that's the picture you'll see in the bottom left or bottom right corner there. Again, on the coast. It's very well known. You can see the islands of Stromboli, the island of Stromboli from there. This area of Calabria is known for Induja, for some spice, for the peperoncino, for spice. We'll visit a beautiful olive oil producer there and a really special, a really cool factory visit that we just like we're talking about constantly learning. A new experience we just learned about, not learned about, a new experience we just started taking people to this year, and we'll do that again next year. It's a really fantastic experience, unlike anything we do on any trip. So that's Sicily and Calabria for next year. We're trying to do like just a little bit about each tour to not take up too much of your time. We're trying to keep this to an hour. But again, if there's something you see in one of these tours, or if you have a specific question, you can put it in the chat as well, and we'll try to get those answered for you.
There I am. Okay. This is our iconic Italy tour. This used to be named our Northern Italy tour because at one point it was the furthest north that we went, but now we have tours that go even further north. And we renamed it Iconic Italy because it sort of gives you, it is our most diverse tour in terms of experiences and stays and food. So it starts in Cinque Terre, more specifically the first town of all of the 5 towns, that's Monterosso. Then we head over to Bologna, and then the Tuscany region, in the Chianti region of Tuscany. So Cinque Terre gives you a little bit of the seaside, cliffside. You stay in this really gorgeous resort hotel that has an infinity pool and gives you arguably the most beautiful view of the Cinque Terre. You have some seafood there. You get to learn how to make pesto. If you love pesto now, for sure you're going to love it even more once you learn exactly how to make it and what it's really supposed to taste like. After our 3 nights there, we head over to Bologna. Bologna gives you the view of what a city is like in Italy. So you're staying in an old 12th century hotel. You can see the original exposed beams, and you're staying right off of the main piazza of Bologna. Couldn't get a better location. And Bologna is known as the food capital of Italy. So if you didn't know Italy had a food capital, now you know it's Bologna and you have to visit. You have real Parmigiano Reggiano. We learn how that's made. You get to taste the real balsamic vinegar from Modena. Learning how to make the tortellini. So in this picture here, the tortellini, and if you can get a taste of tortellini in Bordeaux, which you will get a little taste during one of our food tours there, but it's definitely a must try while you're there. So you got a little bit of the sea, you got a little bit of the city, and then we end in the Chianti region of Tuscany, which gives you the rolling Tuscan hills. Absolutely gorgeous, tasting a lot of Chianti wines, cooking classes, visiting an olive oil producer. This is a really fantastic tour. If you're looking like, hey, I got one trip to Italy and I want to experience as much of it as I can, this is a good one.
Yeah, what I always tell people about this tour is I feel like it is sort of your classics. It has all the flavors you think of when you think of Italy. You have pesto, Parmigiano Reggiano, balsamic vinegar, Chianti wine, the pasta with ragu, all of these things that if you are like, this is Italy, the views. You know, you have the coast, you have this amazing medieval city, and the rolling hills of Tuscany. I feel like it encapsulates everything about Italy, how you would think of it. So to me, this is like the classic. It's a, derived from the first itinerary we ever did. So it's still a popular one.
Okay. Then we have our Due Coste tour. Due Coste means two coasts. So we start on the west coast of Italy around the Amalfi Coast, and then we head east over to Puglia and end on that coast with the Adriatic Sea. This is probably my personal favorite tour. I love the areas. The food specifically is probably my favorite. This is really hard to say because I also really love Bologna too. But
Yeah, I feel like you're cheating on Bologna.
I know. But no, I think if I had to pick one, this is probably my favorite. So starting along the Amalfi Coast, we get to visit the island of Capri. One of the best ways to see it is from a boat, and then also visiting Positano as well. So we're making sure that you get to see, Kyle mentioned this a little bit, get to see those popular spots, but we're staying in a spot that's not as well known, definitely less touristy. So it gives you a little bit more of that authentic Italian cultural experience. Then we head to Matera. So that's that picture down here in the bottom center. Matera is really difficult to put into words. It's absolutely stunning. Nothing that you've ever experienced. It's thousands of years older than Rome, about 5,000 years older than Rome. And it's basically an ancient cave town. So all of the restaurants, all of the shops, even our hotel rooms are all carved out of the rock there. So there are these caves that we're staying in. It's
Fancy
amazing.
caves. Fancy caves.
Fancy caves. Fancy caves. Fancy caves. So we'll do a little tour while we're there just because the history of the city is so unique and interesting. We do a little tour, get a look around, learn about its history. And then we also visit an Amaro producer while we're in that area as well. So that's a unique experience compared to some of our other tours. And then we head over to Puglia. So that's the heel of the boot over here. And we visit towns like Polignano a Mare. So that's there. And Alberobello. Alberobello is this town right here. So we get a little tour of that town. And then we also have this really incredible experience in what they call their secret garden. It's a family that we met a long time ago. And this secret garden was born during COVID, and because they couldn't have people come into their wine bar anymore. So they decided to open up their personal sort of backyard and have groups come and have dinner al fresco outside. So people are still able to enjoy each other's company. And it has become a place that it's a must do during this tour. And it's usually one of people's favorite experiences during the tour. Anything else to add there, Kyle?
No, I was just going to say about Matera. There was a recent, I don't know if anyone's watched the show, the CBS Sunday Morning series. They did a bit on Matera a month or so ago, which was really a really great sort of encapsulation of Matera. But it's also a popular spot for movie sets. So Passion of the Christ was filmed there. Again, that gives you an insight to how prehistoric it really looks. Passion of the Christ, one of the, I think the most recent James Bond movie, the opening scene was filmed there. It's just a very dramatic. Once you come with us, you'll be able to see how you can't explain it. Very dramatic, very just stunning city. Okay, that's all. So you might be surprised to see a picture of France on here. I mentioned earlier Croatia. So while all of our tours are focused on Italy, we have started to incorporate other countries. Basically, nothing is sort of we're not looking to, take over the world here. Some of them have just sort of come about in very organic ways. This Flavors of Bordeaux tour came about from a local winery in Pennsylvania who has ties to Bordeaux. So there's a gentleman who started a company in York County in Pennsylvania who's married to a woman whose family, she and her sister own a winery in the Bordeaux region. So he came to us last fall. His cousins had come on our tours before and asked us if we would put this tour together. So, in working with him, and then I've spent time over there now. Martina has spent time over there. So, we've put together this really incredible 10-day tour through the Bordeaux region. So, it'll start outside of the city in the region where the winery is located. So we'll spend some time at the family's winery, explore some other wineries as well. We'll spend a couple nights in the village of Saint-Emilion, which is a very medieval, reminds me of something from Harry Potter. It's a very cute medieval town right in the heart of the winery region. And then we'll end in the city of Bordeaux. So you'll see at the bottom there are oysters, which may seem like that they don't fit in that whole experience, but it's a very famous region for oysters right on the coast there. So we'll take a boat trip out on the Arcachon Bay, go to visit the oyster farms and have an oyster lunch. So it's not just this will be great for wine drinkers, but it's not like we're going to be visiting a winery every day. There's still the culinary experiences. You'll still have there'll be a walking food tour in Bordeaux. There'll be a cooking class. So we've got experiences throughout, and I think it's going to be a really exciting tour. If you have done a bunch of our Italy tours and you're looking for something different for next year, we do have a couple of seats left on that tour.
Sardinia. So Sardinia is the island in the middle of the Mediterranean that belongs to Italy. This is fresh in my mind because I just did it in September. And if there's one thing that amazed me the most about the tour, besides the food, because the food is always amazing, it is just how crystal clear the waters are. So being able to be in the water up to your neck and look down and still see your toes. I think I told my Curata team, I was like, I could have stayed all day in that water. I could have lived there for the rest of my life. It's just stunning. So in Sardinia, we start in Calagonone, which is this point right here, the bottom point. So it's a beach area. We stay right in the beach hotel, beautiful view of the sea. And it's a small town, so you get that little sort of like living like a local feeling. And we visit a lot of the local restaurants as well, including an agriturismo where we get to learn a little bit about cheese and get to see them roasting some little pigs, which is a specialty in that area. And we have boat trips, of course, because you can't visit an island without a couple of boat trips along the way to be able to see the coastline from the sea. There's time built in so that you can go to the beach and relax and restore as well. And then we head north up to the Arzachena area where we're staying at I would describe it as a resort area. Beautiful pool there, really gorgeous rooms. And then we go to a winery there as well. Actually, we go to a couple wineries. So you get sort of a different view of a local, smaller winery and then this sort of grandeur winery. The food is very different. This is a picture of the colorgiones, which is almost like it's made with potato and cheese and mint with a pasta filled with potato, cheese, and mint. So different from anywhere else in Italy, and it's so delicious. And now my mouth is watering.
It's a problem
So
with the lunchtime
I know
webinar
lunchtime
talking
Zoom.
about food.
So if you're looking for a tour where you're able to relax and restore on the beach a little bit more, this is definitely a good one for you.
I would also say that it's great for if you have traveled extensively already through Italy and you feel like, you're kind of thinking you want something different. Sardinia it feels like it's Italy, but it also feels like a completely different country. The dialect is different. The food there, you'll still have pasta and seafood and things like that, but it's a different experience. And I think if you have done a lot of traveling and you're looking for something different, this is perfect as well. Lakes regions. So this is back for next year. We didn't do it this year because we had the tour that Martina just finished today was a tour that started in Piemonte and ended in Lake Como. So that was our Lake Como experience for this year. But next year we are bringing back the lakes regions. You can see from the little map, it goes across the top of Italy. So you'll start on the shores of Lake Como in a town called Tremezzo. We'll go across to the city of Verona, which is behind me here. And then it ends in a town called Chioggia, which is a fishing village just across the lagoon from Venice. So you'll get, again, a great view across of some different regions, different culinary experiences across Lake Como, of course, very well known, obviously. We try to stay in a little town. It's across from Bellagio, which you may have heard of. But Tremezzo, the place we stay, is this awesome family run inn. It is, when I say it's on the water, it is out over Lake Como. If you are on social media and you want to check out our recent stories or posts, the group was just there again through this morning, and we will not we'll do a cooking class there. We'll of course do a boat trip, so we'll take you on a boat tour, pointing out some of the famous villas there, including George Clooney's, of course. And you'll get a little time in Bellagio to shop and explore and do things like that. It is we when we first started planning this, we were kind of like Lake Como. It's maybe it's too well known. Maybe we don't want to take too touristy, but I think I feel like we have found with everywhere, I think we have found the way to show it to you where it doesn't feel like you are getting a touristy experience at all. You're staying in this really cute family run place in a little town that you don't feel like anyone else really knows about. From there, we go over to Verona, which quickly became one of our favorite cities. And you'll see it again behind me, and then in one of the pictures over there on the river. It is like a bustling town. It's got great shopping. It has such a good mix of like modern and medieval and historic, and you can see Juliet's balcony that has an arena there it rivals the one in Rome. It's even more well preserved. They still do performances there, everything from operas to pop artists. So it's a really special town, and it's not far from Lake Garda. So we'll take a trip out to Lake Garda one day, go to a really special winery there for a harvesting experience. And then from there, we go to Chioggia, and we will take you over to Venice for the day. We'll do that fishing hut experience. And Chioggia they call it Little Venice, so it still has the canals. You'll still get that Venice-like experience without being in busy Venice. So this is a great time of year to go as well. The harvesting is at a peak, and the food coming out of there is really fantastic as well. So the Lakes region is one of my favorites. Next, this is Brianna.
Yes, so this is a new itinerary in the we've taken pieces of two itineraries and put them together. And this is actually a tour with Chef Taylor Mason, the chef of Luca, the restaurant in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And he's been doing tours with us for a few years now.
5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
Now, he usually does about 2 tours a year with us. So he does have another one in the spring of next year, which is sold out. This one still has a few seats open, and this is going to be a really incredible food. I mean, they're all incredible food tours. This one really, this has a truffle experience. So you stay in the town of Perugia, which is in the region of Umbria. So Umbria is right in the center of Italy. It's known as the Green Heart of Italy. And Perugia, this hilltop town, and it's a younger town. It's a university town, and there's lots of really great shops. You stay at a hotel that's just down the street from the main piazza in town, and the views, because it's a hilltop town, the views from the town are really, really stunning. You take a trip to Assisi, which is close by, and also known as another hilltop town. And I mentioned truffle hunting, so going to experience how the hunting dogs find the truffles, and then having a full truffle tasting menu, which is, arguably, I think we can agree, probably the best meal of any of our tours. Oh, that's hard to say too.
I know. I think I just said that La Favorita was one of them too. It's hard. There's a lot of really good meals.
There's a lot of really good meals. We'll also be visiting a couple of wineries along the way. Chef Taylor is a big wine aficionado, so we make sure to include a few stops at wineries during his tours. After Perugia, we head to the town of Serrano, which is in southern Tuscany. And so you're staying in basically this old fortress castle. So it's a really unique accommodation compared to a lot of our tours. And then in that area, again, there's a lot of wineries and a lot of new, young, unique wineries that we get to visit as well. So definitely very, very different from a lot of the other wineries that we visit. And another highlight during that tour is a visit to the thermal hot springs of Saturnia. So that's this picture here down at the bottom. So you get you eat a lot of food, you drink a lot of wine, and then you get to rest in the thermal hot springs just to sort of pull out the rest of the negative energy that's left after all of the food and wine. Anything to add there, Kyle?
I would just add, we haven't really talked about our chef-led tours. Again, his Chef Taylor's spring one is sold out. He just led this last one with Martina. We, as a part of Caputo Brothers Creamery, the creamery has a lot of restaurant customers, and so a lot of those happen to be Italian American restaurants. So we do often partner with some of these chefs to lead tours. Taylor is someone that we have done this with consistently. So like Brianna said, he leads 2 tours a year. He is so passionate about all things Italian. He would probably do more of these tours if we wanted him to. He has an incredible sense of hospitality. If the chef culture has become so popularized with Top Chef or Chef's Table, making celebrity chefs. So that there are some chefs that are they just want to be in the kitchen and cook, and there are some that are Taylor is a chef who wants to share everything with you. He wants you to try everything. He is excited about sharing his passion with you. So I would say his level of hospitality is also, and his knowledge about food and Italian culture, both of those marry to make him a really fantastic tour leader as well. And then our last tour of the year that we have posted so far is, we just put it up last week, December in the Dolomites. We are bringing this back in 2022. We did 2 back-to-back because they were so popular, 2 of these Christmas market tours. And since then we did our team retreat in this area 2 years ago. found some even more places we wanted to take people to. So we were like, we have to bring this back next year because we all want to go, because it's everything you would imagine about a European Christmas market. It's so festive. The word cozy comes to mind a lot. There's a lot of cozy moments. Um, everything's covered in lights. It really gets you excited for the holidays, but it's also so much. We renamed it December in the Dolomites because it is so much more than the Christmas markets. We do stay in two towns, Trento, Bolzano and Trento, that right out the front door are going to be those towns' Christmas markets, and we'll take you to others as well. But this tour is so unique with these locations because it has food experiences like we don't have on any other tours. We visit a honey producer. This area is known for apples. So we'll go to a cidery that is not only producing hard cider, but also, I don't know what you call it, not hard cider, and have a whole apple and cider themed lunch around it. What else do we have? There's a great cheese experience. Someone who is aging cheeses in World War II bunkers, former World War II bunkers. And then you're in the Dolomites. It's stunning. These drives that you'll be taking as we go from experience to experience, the vistas are just incredible. We'll do a cooking class up in the middle of the mountains that you'll wonder how in the world we found this place, which is stunning. So I can't recommend this enough. I mean, like I said, we did two of these back to back in 2022 and have been dying to get back there. So, yeah, so we're excited to add that one. We just posted the other day. We just had, I think, 4 people sign up this morning. So we're excited to bring this back to everyone. One thing I wanted to add before we get to questions, I know we're wrapping up. I just wanted to share my screen and take people through how to sign up for a trip if you're interested. So I'm gonna share my screen. And if you go on our website, you'll see our 2025 tours. You can click on any tour. It'll bring up that tours page. So every tour has its own page on our website. You'll see the dates, the pricing, a description, a little bit about the itinerary, how many nights we're in each place, some of the highlights of the tour. So you'll see some of the excursions to look forward to. At the bottom, it really drills down into pricing, the pricing schedule, deposit, registration form. Again, like I mentioned, you can find exactly what's included, not included. Flights will tell you what airports we're picking you up and dropping you off at, what times, and tour notes. So on every tour page, you'll find this where we have pointed out if there's anything specific you need to keep in mind before you book. So we have things like cuisine. For Due Coste, you can expect seafood. If you have allergies, food allergies, those kind of things, as long as you let us know beforehand, we can get around just about anything. And you will not go hungry on these tours. It doesn't matter if you're a pescatarian or celiac. I know those things can be challenging for traveling. But again, as long as we know ahead of time, we can organize these things with the restaurants. There's some notes in here about terrain. So for Matera, for example, being in this ancient cave town, there are steps, there are some uneven surfaces, just things that we want you to know before as you consider booking this trip. So we've done that for you on all of these trips. So if there's a trip you're interested in, go on there, read the notes, see if there's anything of concerns about, reach out to us. And then if you are ready to book, you just click this book now button. It'll bring up a booking request form. You fill that out, you pick the tour that you're interested in. You put the number of travelers. If you want to let us know of any dietary restrictions, food allergies, mobility issues, all of that, you hit submit. It comes to us and we get back to you and tell you everything, all your next steps. So that's all you have to do if you're interested in booking a tour. You just read all of the information, make sure it's a tour you're interested in, click book now, and we'll help you through all of the steps from there. So I know we've gone a little bit over, but we wanted to leave a little time if anyone has any questions we haven't addressed. I will say there's one question I forgot to mention that was submitted beforehand. Any plans for a tour in Trento and the Dolomites in warmer weather? That's something we're talking about for 2026. Romina, who you met at the beginning of the webinar, has spent, her grandparents lived in that region and she spent a lot of summers there. And so she has been building a summer in the Dolomites tour that we're looking at for 2026. So that's something to stay tuned for. It's a great area to be in the summer up north, cooler weather, much less hot, probably better than here as well. And I don't know if there's anything that's come in over the chat that we haven't addressed. But if anyone thinks of anything, you can always reach out. If you go on our website and go to the contact us section, those come straight to me, so I can answer any of your questions. We can set up one-on-one calls. We're hoping to do more of these webinars. We have some topics coming up we want to cover, packing, booking your flights, all of those kind of things. So we hope you'll sign up if you're not already on our newsletter list, you can do that on our website, and follow us on social media for more tips and things like that. All right. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. We're recording this, we'll post it and send it around, and you can share it with your family members or friends who are thinking about booking a tour with us. We hope to see you in Italy. Thank you everyone so much.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.